Good. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good. So, how's Cam doing? Cam Little, I mean, he's had a little bit shaky last couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, it's not his best. Obviously, love to have some of those kicks back. I think the cool part, we love him here. We love what he's done. He's saved us a million times over the years. And we get an opportunity. The bye week came at a perfect time for him, for me, for everybody, all our players and coaches, to kind of reset, get back to what you do. Cam strikes the ball as good as anybody in the league. And so to get back to that, he was able to go home to his hometown in Oklahoma City and kick on his little goal post. And, you know, he was able to kind of reach back and kind of do the things he does. And we've had some great conversations. It's been really, really good. This is part of his process as a young kicker, a young specialist. You know, you hate to see it happen, kind of this little rough patch a little bit, but this is part of it. I told him you're going to have, you know, 3 or 4 of these probably over your course of your 15-year career. So this is how we got to manage it. This is how we got to work through it, and we're going to work through it with him. And so it's a cool time for him to kind of work through it with the bye week, get extra time to do it. And I'm excited. I'm fired up to see him kick on Sunday. It's gonna be really cool to kind of see where he's come. And like I said, we love him to death.
He's a super confident guy, but is it tough to make sure, like, check on him to make sure that it doesn't sink in and shake that confidence?
He's very confident, and we're confident in him. You know, as he should. He's super talented, and he has the right mindset, the work ethic. He does all the right things to have that confidence. And so we love it. I mean, that's what makes him a great kicker. And nothing wavered with him or with us. You know, it's something that, you know, the organization, starting from the top, you know, to Liam and down to me, we love him to death. Nothing but confidence. We've all had plays this year we'd love to have back, and I've had stuff that I'd love to have back, and you know, even within that game, you know, against the Rams, there's things I'd love to have back. And when, you know, some of our players will save me, you know, Monteric makes an open field tackle on something that I didn't put the guys in the best position, but they've saved me, just like Cam. You know, we got Cam's back the same way.
Heath, the league's got a little bit of a history of guys pulling the trigger too early on getting rid of a kicker who goes into a little bit of a slump, and then you've always got, and they go to another team, and all of a sudden they rediscover things. So is that maybe one of the things in mind with having patience with Cam?
That's football. I think that's all of our players. You love them, you work with them, and sometimes you're not going to have your best plays out there, or your best kicks. But what do? We coach them up. We work with them. We help them. We love them up, and get them better at you know, at any whatever position that is. That's not going to happen here. I think he's a guy takes as much accountability on himself as anybody, and so that the work ethic he has. He's going to be great. Like I said, I'm excited to watch him on Sunday. He's gonna have a spectacular game. He's going to help us win a ton of games this year. He's a big part of what we're going to do for the next, you know, bunch of years, you know, here in Jacksonville.
The one thing I wanted to ask you on the coverage teams, obviously, you know, you lost Daniel Thomas. You know, decisions were made. I guess a couple other guys were in there. Rayon Lane, he's made some big plays on punts and everything. What do you like about that kid?
Ray's been unbelievable. He's had an exceptional year. His ability to cover kicks, not only on the punt and kickoff group, is spectacular. Whether he's facing a double team in a vice, his contact balance, his speed, his strength, his toughness, and then I think probably the best thing about him, he's an animal on Sundays. You know, the guy we see in the meeting rooms, the guy we see out here, you know, in the halls and on practice field, is not the same guy that we get out on the game. And you know, he plays at a motor, a relentless effort and speed, and that you don't see a lot of players play with. The knack to get to the football. He's having an unbelievable year, and he's a special player. He's exactly what we were hoping he would be when we drafted him. And he may be even better. He's an exceptional player in the coverage groups, but I think what really kind of separates him too is his ability in the return game. He is a key part of some of those key blocks. Anytime we have a big return, whether it's Parker or our kick return guys, he's a big part of it. He always has great matchups, and he wins a lot of them. He wins most of them. So he's a special player, a talented player that works at it with great effort.
What have you made of Parker's year as a punt returner decision-wise?
Parker's been great. Obviously, he had the big return against San Francisco. Love to have that one against the Rams. But he's been a great player, whether he's catching the ball clean, making great decisions back there, and then he's a dynamic returner that opposing teams have to be aware of. But so he's been spectacular, and the guy's blocking for him. I want to give a lot of credit to those guys. We have a bunch of young players that have played unbelievable. We have a ton of rookies and young players that have stepped up, that are a big part of our core group. Besides Rayon, but we have a bunch of them. Danny's been a big part of it. Jack has been good. So we got a bunch of good players that have kind of stepped up at that young role as a core group and really bonded together, as a great group.
Coaching against Pete Carroll this week, what did he kind of mean to you in your transition to coaching, all that time spent with him?
Coach Carroll is a great mentor of mine. I mean, I think he's a guy that I learned a ton of, from as a player, and then obviously working under. He kind of, he took me under his wing that first, year in coaching, and I was out there for 2 years. And a lot of the stuff, my coaching philosophies and techniques that I teach now, it comes straight from Coach Carroll. So it's a guy that I respect. Looking forward to seeing him, pre-game or post-game. Again, I love him to death. I think he's an exceptional coach. The motivation, the teaching, everything he did as far as philosophy and details, it was such a big part of what we did out there in Seattle. And I incorporate a lot of my coaching of what I learned from him.
And I'm assuming that, Pete was one of those coaches who thought special teams was just equally as important as the other two units, that, there was an attention to detail in that regard, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Carroll sat in a lot of those meetings. It was very, very important. I believe you probably have to ask him, but I believe I was probably was out there as one of those guys of just, hey, he's here just to play special teams. I played a little bit of linebacker, but I was there to play special teams and to be a leader, and it was important to him. It was a big part of what we did. We had some great, fantastic players, some Hall of Fame players on some of those teams on offense and defense. But those special teams groups were some of the top in the NFL over the years, and we had some big time plays and big time games. Whether it's fake punts in the NFC Championship game to the Super Bowl kick return with Percy Harvin. So we had some great plays that was just as important to the offense and defense was that special teams groups.
Back to Cam for a second. Did he have to change anything, like form-wise, or did you have him tweak anything?
No, that's the best part. I think the best part is get back to what he does, striking the football, and then the reset. I think just going with a clean slate, get back to what we do, watching film, getting details, and then the break. We all needed a break, and we come back and we're refreshed. We're ready to go. We're excited about this week. It's gonna be a great matchup. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch him.
Diame back there at kickoff return now. What do you like about that switch?
Diame did great. I thought he did a great job, obviously with the Rams and their ability to kind of put the ball on the ground. Their kicker did a really good job with that. I thought Diame would handle the ball really well, especially with the wet game out there in London. And he handled it well, and I love the way he hit the return, was able to break some tackles. He's a talented returner. Just like the rest of our guys. We got 2 young rookies that have filled in nicely, and they're coming along great. They're improving each week. Those guys have they're bought into special teams and they're a part of it. So we got a good group. Besides Parker, we got a good group. That are all can return, and we'll kind of rotate them through as we see matchup fit.
I heard on a radio show where Logan was getting criticized a little bit for not being. Is he kind of a victim of the standard he set over the last 7 or 8 years? Because his stats are kind of in the top 8 or 10 still, but everybody's used to seeing Logan right at the top. So do you have, as with Cam, do you have the same amount of confidence with Logan?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think you're right. I mean, is he? He'd probably love to have a few of those punts back as well, and that's part of part of football. I think the best part is we got a lot of season left. At the end of the day, we're all going to get better as this season goes on. Logan will be fine. Logan will kick great. He'll punt great, and he'll end up being one of the top punters in the league. We'll keep covering for him. Our guys are doing a really good job covering. So yeah, there's not a concern about Logan. It's he's right where he should be. We'll be okay.
What's been the challenge? What's been the challenge, I guess, with the new kickoffs? Not necessarily new, but it seems like more teams are deploying different types of kickoffs. You mentioned the Rams. What's been the challenge this year? Not only for the return game, but also for your kicking game to just figure out pretty much a sweet spot.
I mean, I think the sweet spot is probably the best word for it. It's a matter of if we're on kickoff, it's obviously great to put the ball on the ground. You're kind of playing with fire because all of a sudden you leave one short and you're getting a penalty before the play even starts. And then also if they catch it clean right off the bat and it's a short kick, that's also a problem. So there's kind of a mixed bag of do you do some missile kicks? Do you just do the old drive balls bet to the inside the 5 is ideal? But that's kind of something. Those are those decisions and those are those game time or game plan decisions we have to make. Of what is best fit, how is our matchup for each week, but that's the sweet spot of it, is what do we think is our best way to cover and to pin them deep, to pin them deep, and then in the kickoff coverage group or kickoff return group to get those short fields.
Thanks, appreciate it.